It's one of these.
Yeah.
It's just like a real
I don't know what that
projection.
thing is.
No, I love that.
I haven't taken the training.
Camera.
Yeah.
Well, aloha, guys, and welcome to Way of the Jedi. I don't even really call my training, human design anymore because it's actually becoming a smaller and smaller piece of what it is that I'm really training you to do, which is survive in this world today and the world that's coming quickly. And guys, I don't really think you understand what quickly in evolutionary terms means. Like in 20 years from now, dude, nothing, I mean, it's, I'm not an apocalyptic guy. It's okay, don't worry about it. I'm not really an apocalyptic guy, but I also see, I mean, I could see the structures shaking. I could see the things falling. And at the same time, we're trusting that Adobe and the internet will last at least another year or two. We're just, I'm very clear that I could go back to a picnic table and do readings from a picnic table. That this whole virtual thing could fall at any time. I don't think people really get that. We've built so much of our structure and our lives on it, but to really take you on this journey, not only through what are the fundamentals of human design, but to really train you like a martial arts trainer would train you to understand what's me, what's not me, how to do that with other people. I mean, this is a way of life. I mean, from the beginning, that's what if anything, my teaching has gone back to the way it started before I got involved with the bigger world of human design, because it was more organic and it was more truly me anyway. And I did get messed up by other people's trips and interpretations, and that's why the second I see anyone even trying to take on my trip, I'm going to smack you. You got your trip, and your trip is rad, and nobody else can have your trip. And it's really an incredible privilege, really, guys, to be able to take you on this journey. So welcome to Way of the Jedi. Has something to do with human design. In 1987, a supernova known as 1987A exploded. Okay. Now, guys, look, human design is mystical enough without people trying to exaggerate it and make it into something even more crazy than it already is. I mean, I'm not really sure why, because it's so trippy anyway. But you'll hear people like saying it's the first supernova that's ever exploded. No, it was the first supernova that ever exploded that we saw. Okay, we saw it with a telescope. We saw it. But during that, what happened is that during this explosion of what is essentially like a giant star, like thousands of times bigger than our sun, is that that our neutrino field, the electric field that we exist in, the neutrino ocean. We're going to talk neutrinos in a second. Subatomic particle holding all life together, moving along on our evolutionary path. Anyway, blasts, our crazy leader, with an 8-day experience. You guys watched The Encounter. And tell me if you think that sounds like some sort of pleasant mystical experience that man had. I mean, it was anything but. But that Roz essentially, was told that he would be the voice that brought human design to the world. Okay, now look, guys, I don't know, this, that, whatever, but basically, Ra had just gotten to the end of basically putting it all out. everything he had. I mean, he was starting to go back and started tweak with stuff, and he died. I mean, really, his trip was just to get the information out. And there are so many people that are really stewards of that information. And you can get, I mean, you can buy the whole system for $50 in a book. I mean, you're not coming here for information, guys. Not to me, at least. I mean, that's not why you're coming. But in that explosion, apparently, sort of like a virus on a computer, everybody was downloaded with a zip file. A virus that could ignite at any time, given the right set of circumstances. You know, some people say that that has to be done in aura. Well, I say bullshit, because I've seen it happen many times not that way. You know, most often not that way. People say, you know, that, you know, whatever, you know, there are people that would want to have this. They think they would want to have this, but if they knew what it was, they wouldn't want anything to do with it. I mean, it really does break down your whole trip, guys. It is a cellular transformation. If you are here in this class watching these videos or listening to me, you have been infected. Now, the level of which you accept that fate and can relax and really have the form have its life, because that's all this is about. At the end of the day, that's all this is about, is the form having its life. I mean, you can have a life that's uncomprehendable to your mind. You know, Joan and I were just talking about how, you know, most people work in order to get some time off to do what they like. I mean, that's the world. Mm-hmm. I do what I love every day, come what may. And anybody that knows me will clearly back up that statement, right? So Rod did his trip, and it was roughly 24, 25 years that he taught, and then he dropped it. And this information, I mean, he said it time and time and time again, that, dude, you experiment with it. You find your truth with it. You don't believe a word I'm saying. It's an experiment. Yes, yes, yes. But at the same time, it is a deeply logical system. And so for those of you that are, you know, wired in such a way that's going into all of that, helps your trip, know that I support you. But that's a much more emphasized or supported side of human design than I've seen the experiential side to be. It's just like, you know, class after class after class. You'll notice that I'm barely teaching the syllabus. It is not my job. I mean, you can read the book. I mean, fuck. I'll give you all the book at the end of the year. It tells you everything. $50.
At the end of the year.
Yeah, at the end of the year. Yeah, I'll give you the book at the end of the year, after you've actually committed to your process. The human design that reveals that we have this, you know, neutrino imprint. And if you understand that literally neutrinos, this word neutrino, subatomic particle, I can't even remember. This is another lecture that's coming in a month or two. However many million per square centimeter or whatever, that's actually encoding, not only, it's what I like to call the force. It's like it binds life together, it creates life, it imprints a blade of grass, it imprints humans. Basically all human, you know, all living entities are born out of the same element, DNA. It's the 64 codon in that DNA are the 64 hexagrams you're looking at in your human design chart. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, you're imprinted with stardust, and then you're created into an illusion that you are separate from everything else, and what you actually think is your trip here has nothing to do with your trip here. And dude, down and down and down the rabbit hole you go. Stardust turns on chemicals and builds a vehicle in which a passenger is then inserted to have a trip through a life. I mean, if I didn't have the experience of this being real and true, guys, I mean, I would laugh at this sort of nonsense. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that I hear at the coffee shop that I just go like this, you know. right along with, global warming and every other, I mean, this is so crazy. I have trouble with it, but I have my experience. And that's what I'm inviting you guys all into, is your own experience, that you can see that we really are living in this seven-centered hangover, this mutation from this seven to nine-centered being that took place in 1781, creating what is now unique expressions of consciousness. You can think of the seven-centered vehicle, and you can even look at the way it is in Kundalini and rising the energy and rising awareness and rising consciousness. That's all seven-centered shit. That's all, let's get somewhere, okay? And those dudes were rad dudes, and they put together rad systems, astrology, Kabbalah, all that stuff. We have it here in a second. It was all rad for what those dudes were doing, but that's not what we're doing. We're here to be a unique expression of the human potential, a unique expression of the human potential, to be completely different. And if you think anybody's going to like that, you are, well, I think the word that comes is deluded. I mean, I was looking for something softer, but
Softer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, people, dude, even in the science of differentiation, I'm telling you, man, people, if you're different, they don't like it. They don't. It's trippy, you know? People feel that I am dangerous. It's true. Human design reveals that, I mean, there's incredible, connection between these different systems, quantum physics, biochemistry, genetics, astrology, the Hindu chakra system, which is that seven-centered chakra thing that you see on every yoga center and everybody's house and everything, and what martial arts and stuff came from. I mean, things that, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, all of this stuff is all tied together in this crazy meshed net that everywhere you look, the code's right, and it pisses you off after 14 years that it said that was going to happen this year. Fuck this math. But it's an amazing thing that you have in front of you. And if you don't get that, if this doesn't inspire you to something well beyond the life that you're having now, I don't know, man. Maybe next life. Maybe it's not your trip. Now, I don't want to get into all of this too much right now, but the imprinting mechanism itself, you can see like the rave wheel. I actually liked it better when they used to be separated, like the red and the black wheels were separated. This is where they're actually combined. It's okay. It just doesn't really give you the correct perspective of just how screwed you are in terms of being able to figure out your life.
Next slide.
Yeah, that slide's coming up. But really, I mean, yes, it's imprinting through a hexagram. Those are those numbers that are down the side of your chart. It does have some astrological influence, and those things are, I don't want you to get tripped off in astrology, because astrology really has to do with personality. And you're going to see in a second why the personality doesn't have a clue what it's doing. And then these activations either turn on or off, what is fixed and reliable in your design. So here's the dilemma, guys. All of these seven-centered traditions, the things that we just outlined and so forth, will really about what in a human design chart is the black. Okay, it's the black. It's the moment of birth. Okay, but human design reveals that there is a vehicle that's built 90 days, 88 degrees of the sun's hour, 90 days prior to the passenger being put in it. Now, just think of that in terms of direction. So you have a vehicle that's driving due north with a passenger that thinks it should be going west. we're going to do this with all of your charts soon enough to show you just how different those are. But I mean, just between my black and red side, the simplest level, I mean, it's either this crazy, carried away, laughing monk or this vicious viper that will cut your head off at the slightest provocation, where I'm threatened. I mean, it's that yin and yang, guys. They have nothing to do with each other. My personality, this laughing, this guy, he's pretty much cool with everything. The mind bitches, but I have that mind. Um, but dude, the body, dude, when the body gets pissed, it's scary. Yeah, it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you guys are all going to develop in your form consciousness. My form, it will not. No, absolutely not. And then before you ask the question, well, does that mean that we only pay attention to the red? No, exactly not that. But that even who you think you are, even before there's conditioning, even if we could, clean you out completely of all the bad shit that's happened in your lives and all the stuff you've taken in and all the things that didn't quite work out, and we could relieve you of all of that stress and pressure. Your passenger would still be clueless on where you're going. And guys, if I can't get that part to you, if I can't get that you are not in control of a single thought, not a single breath, I mean, you can bring awareness to these things, but you are not doing any of it. If you can't get there, this isn't for you. If you're in some illusion that you're going to use human design to get something, you're in the wrong place. There's plenty of people selling that. Look them up. More money with human design, more sex, more. Better life. You will have a better life. It's not really my experience so far. Interesting life. I would say interesting, mythological, crazy as all hell. But better, I don't know. I could make a strong argument for teaching surfing lessons the rest of my life. And not having to deal with passengers that look like this guy right here. See, this is your passenger. The guy screaming out the window. Dude, he has no fucking idea what's going on. He thinks you're going the wrong direction. Dude, if your mind is freaking out, that is a good sign you're going in the right direction. Because your mind is not only the spokesperson for who or what you're not, it also is pointed out the wrong window. It's only through what is, poor Ra, he almost got sick of saying it, dude. Strategy and authority. Dude, aura strategy. How does it work? And then your authority. How does that work? And I don't want anybody telling me about you have your way on how that works. I've seen even this get homogenized. I mean, it's hilarious. We have this science of differentiation, and people keep trying to homogenize it. And it's like, no, please. This is precious. I don't even care if this is for the kids that are being born today. That hopefully that you guys will be around to hand them this and go, good luck before you're taken out. But you've got this magnetic monopole right here in your chest that's holding you together in an illusion that you're separate from everything else. Okay, let's start there. Let's start that you have a missile that's flying through space from birth to death. You have absolutely no access to the trajectory of it. You have absolutely no idea where it's going. And whether you like it or not, you're going there at 160,000 miles an hour, screaming pinpoint to your time and space to die. Okay, so that's your life. Okay, which part are you in charge of? The design crystal, the body, is totally on board with the magnetic monopole that's holding the whole thing together in an illusion that you're separate. Whether your G is defined or not, I can hear that question. You all have a magnetic monopole. Yes, right here. Sometimes you might feel it pulling on you. I've had very strong sensations sometimes. It almost felt like I was skydiving, being pulled from that trajectory almost. but that could also be very much from my design, guys. This is why it's so dangerous to say anything, because it's like they're like, oh, I'm not feeling my monopole. I need you to ask me questions if I want to have a reading with you. Do you know how many emails I get like that?
Generators?
Yeah. Yeah.
Generators.
I need you to ask me questions whether or not I should have a reading. I'm like, dude, if you can't figure that out, I can't help you.
Did you contact me?
Yeah. Did you contact me? Right. Apparently there was enough energy to get here. Do we now have to dance in order to get on with the reading? Okay. Yeah. So the monopole, is truly, the driver. It knows exactly where it's going. Dude, it's the GPS. The design crystal is on board, dude. It's like, hey, it's just the car. It's just the vehicle. That's what you're riding at. It's Mr. P over here. It's the passenger. That's your mind, okay? And that's pretty much how it feels most of the time to me. I also want you guys to know, because I'm having this moment of elation, for lack of a better word, that I love doing this. I absolutely love that you guys are here, and thank you so much that you continue to give me the opportunity to do this. Because every time I get here, I just go, holy shit. Because you look out there at the world and you just go, oh my God. Not only do they have no idea where they're going really fast. Which makes for a very confusing and dangerous world if you're not one of them, and just be careful, guys. Trust yourself. You only have 13 conscious and unconscious activations. 13 that are your vehicle flying through space, and 13 that you could be more conscious of. Okay. One is like your heart rate and stuff. I mean, yes, maybe you could get some conscious access to it through practices and so forth and begin to understand your unconscious. But dude, it's called unconscious for a fucking reason. Okay. On the personality side, yeah, you can say, like, someone could say to me, you're a pain in the ass. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm very conscious of the 1858, which is pretty much the channel of being a pain in the ass. Challenging all authority. Like, it's really funny because I have people challenge me as if I have some choice in not fighting back. Like, I don't want to fight. I actually just want to cruise along and do my trip. But when people come at me, and especially energetically, and they want to get in my shit, dude, I mean, the viper just comes out, dude, and it's way before my mind. Whaka! It's like, whoa, And that's what I mean, dude. I mean, that process I am not conscious of. I physically know when it's happened because it's become so strong. And it's basically my authority saying, no, fuck you. You're threatening my survival. And you're degenerating the whole of what I'm dealing with here. You're a weak link. You need to be killed. That's basically what my design is saying.
I don't know. Kim's up to say this is not your design.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I know. Why don't
people are looking? I know. It just occurred. Okay. Yes.
We should have my design.
Yes.
Yeah, we should have my design. Yeah. Yeah, because we keep using this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that about?
It takes a couple times.
Yeah. Very organized. Responsible instructors you have over here. Guides at the highest level. every I dotted, T crossed. Right. Perfection. And then you have your life force, guys. That what you have from birth to death. And yes, it is a combination of the red and the black. And it is literally the best way to describe it is the tension of the juxtaposition of the red going one way and the black going another that actually creates the holistic that's you. So you are not one or the other, okay? At certain levels, it helps to pull these things apart so you can understand yourself better. That's all. And guys, you don't need this map to wake up. I want to be real clear about that. Now, this map has helped me. Well, it's helped me not put a gun in my mouth. That's for sure. I don't know what other crazy stunt I could have come up with, but I mean, at least I understand what's going on. At least I know that all of this emotional and like stuff that gets triggered from my past and all of these personal demons that I still battle. I mean, the perfect one is the open ego. I mean, as soon as I'm done with this, it won't be good enough. I'm okay right now because I'm so present.
Yeah, your mind can't.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere else. I'm right here, But as soon as I'm done, I won't be good enough. So you've got this not self mental body, and it's not just your chart, guys. It's not. I mean, it's not. It's not just the open centers in your chart. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's everything that's white, and you see this not self mental body, and you see that. It's just running. The monologues and dialogues of the human mind have become insane. I mean, mind is at a point where we either move beyond it, which is what form consciousness allows you to do, how to navigate this next 20 years when everything crumbles and falls, when Rome burns, But what you've got playing in your head is everything you're not. And genetically, you want everything you're not. And you're only attracted to everything you're not. And you think there's something wrong with you because of these things are unstable. So the not self mental body is 99.9% of what's going on in here. That's those voices, they're talking to you. You can track them. If you're a projector, I actually recommend that you master these 9 centers and their frequencies so that you can know and hear and just be. I recommend it because it's been really useful for many of the projectors I train, because once they can see it in someone else, then they can see it in them. Which is really funny because, as a projector, I'm trained to see other people. And people are always trying to point out what's wrong with me. But meanwhile, not asking, would you like me to tell you what I see wrong with you? Those invitations rarely come from the people that are trying to tell me. A few. So guys, don't look for anyone to agree with you, especially your own mind. And, even putting... your trip on people about, them needing to treat you correctly. No, you just don't respond. You don't give them your energy. You don't give them the time of day. If people aren't treating you correctly, then don't engage. Everyone's, how do I get, you don't get people to treat you correctly. You be correct. Mm-hmm. You honor yourself. You quit doing what your mind says to do. I like to call it scratching the record. Your mind says do something, so don't. I love to be laying on the couch watching whatever blood and gore that really turns me on. Some other hero's warrior's journey of, guys that weren't pussies and that were fighting for something greater than themselves. And I also get on that trip too. It's like, I don't know, as a transpersonal being, maybe it's because I'm still on the roof. Dude, I don't feel like any of this has to do with me. None of it. I'm getting off on my trip and missing the lecture entirely. This is what most people pay for. It's way more interesting than the syllabus. We'll get the syllabus, don't worry. Devin will cover it again on Thursday. I'm glad the chat box is closed. So everything that you're white, guys, like a funny one for me is like I have an open sacral and I have the gate 27, which is about caring. So every time a generator shows up, I think I'm supposed to fucking care. I mean, it's been happening since birth. Okay. Now look, now it's funny. Now I don't actually care. I feel it. I know it's there. I know my mind says I should care. I should try to help. I should, all of that stuff is going on, but I know, dude, I know the game. And you don't need to know your human design to this level. I mean, I've just been watching this circus for basically 14 years now, so you start to get a little, the kabuki plays that are going on in your mind, in the open ego. Like you said, it wasn't good enough while you were writing the email. After you sent it, it was really bad. And then later, I was supposed to do something to you
to make it go away.
To make it go.
But I also see that. I mean, I'm just reflecting.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just that it feels weird when you're trying to care. I mean, there is a. I just realized that.
I'm not very good at it. Because you've hurt yourself, and I'm trying.
You do your best.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, we're integration people. Most of you guys in here aren't tribal. You'll notice that as we go along and understand. It's like caring's not really. We're not wired for it, and it's cute when you try to care too. Yeah. I mean, our caring is like, here's have a hamburger. You can survive another day. Yeah. It's a very different form of caring that goes on. Yeah, we're not very good at it either. Another thing as guides, because remember, I'm teaching you to be guides from day one. Whether you're official, unofficial, I don't care. I really don't. As long as you don't represent yourself as something that you're not, that's just called integrity, guys. I mean, I love that human design is exploding out into the world. I'm happy to help fuel that wildfire. I mean, anybody that's not throwing gas on the wildfire is an idiot at this point. It's like, this information is exploding, And you've got your people trying to hang on to their little, paper hat over here or whatever. And it's like, whoa, guys. I mean, but then I'm a collective projector. So I'm here to see the whole big picture and go, no, this is for the world, but that's, again, me. See, I do respect that other people have their another trip with this, and maybe they're very protective of it or whatever. That's cool. That's you. It's the ones that are trying to sell you something with it that kind of just make me feel icky. One of the things you guys are going to get hit with a lot, and it's just one of these questions, so we have to make a slide about it, is like, is the 13 always in the, basically they wouldn't be able to ask it this specifically, but basically is gate 13 always in the G center? Yes, gate 13 is always in the G, gate 13 is right there. Now, whether or not you have it activated or not, from here you can see this is the sun, and then, what did you tell me this astrologically was?
Aquarius.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. And
Aquarius.
Yeah. It's right after. It's right after death and dying, which is mine. This is some age of enlightenment happens. And of course, I'm in the last death and dying phase. There will be no pretty bunnies for John. But guys, even that line 13. That one gate, 1,080 variations, guys, 1,080, and you take that through your whole chart. You think you're going to figure this out with your mind? You think another class is going to help you? I don't know. No, I try to balance, it's like I said from the beginning, I'm trying to balance information with inspiration. Information with inspiration. Information with inspiration. Because, guys, if I didn't just have that internal fuel going out into what is the human design marketplace, I'm sure I would have just gotten lost the way it is today. I mean, when I was learning it, we had to make our own flashcards. I had copies of people's notes and cassette tapes and shit that doesn't even exist now. I couldn't just go online and buy one book for $50. What's in that book probably cost me $30,000. Or at least 20. If I would have paid for all of it. Again, we will talk about projectors and our right to run our scans. That'll be deeper into that'll be for the ones that hang around. But guys, all you really have is the vehicle. But your mind tries to bring everything with you, birth to death. I reference the past to try to make points in the present. But I am absolutely not trying to live with my story of the past. Even sometimes in my work, I even get into shit. Is that just another way? I mean, guys, I want you to understand the continual refinement of my own process, of me actually stepping back and going, okay, let me check for my own bullshit. Let me check for my own bullshit. Let me check. Somebody that's worthwhile listening to, that I can see really does see and get me. Oh, okay, yeah, I do see that. But I'm not asking, because if I let, my mind, it would be upset about what happened when I was 2, and it would be worried about how I was going to retire, or not retire. Is my retirement plan is to live until I die. That's my plan. Sort of like my business plan. I'll be here until people quit showing up. What did Randy say? He goes, you'll know you're a bad teacher when people quit showing up. So I mean, your whole life is like this, guys. I mean, you got this vehicle, and you got this huge mind. Most of it not you. Most of it absolutely having nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing but conditioning. And it's literally like the weight of the world is on your fucking shoulders, guys. I mean, I see mind as this invasive species that's like sucking the life out of humans. I mean, I don't see it. Now, look, at a certain point, I'm beginning to appreciate the creative potential of my mind. It's been trained well enough now that it can actually work on things that are worthwhile without getting in trouble. The first couple of years, as I shared with you, just whipping the dog back into the yard, whipping the dog. Okay, now it's actually, no, it's off doing something stupid, whipping the dog. You got to get the dog back in the yard. There is nothing in human design that's going to help you do anything if you can't be here. If you can't be here, this is all pointless, guys. All of it. Because that's all this map is here to help you do, is to get to a place where you can observe your mind rather than think you are you fucking mind. That's called passenger consciousness. That's called witness presence. That's called awareness or being, okay? It's the whole point of human design. You could easily go through 7 years of doing your strategy and authority and still be a total fucking dumbass if you can't learn to watch what's happening, okay? And I understand now why many of the many teachers ended up leaving and going and doing their own trips. I get it. I get why. I see it. It's homogenization, even within the world of human design. But certainly in the world out there, I mean, Jesus, you are under pressure. Everything that's white, it is coming into you. It is amplifying in you. It is pressuring you. Your mind wants you to be it. Other people want you to be it. Your genes want it genetically so that they can mate with something different and make something different so that something different will exist. That's it. It cares nothing about your life. Nothing. So understand, dude, I mean, I love the stormtroopers. It's the perfect white centers, right? It's like, we got you, man. And, and you can't think your way out of this one, guys. Is that, if you have to ask if that was an invitation or if that was a response, or is it time for me to inform, or is it, have I gone through my process? If you are even asking yourself that question, the answer is no, for now, okay? Because it's, it needs to be really, you need to be rigid at first. I understand being rigid. I do. Only strategy and authority, guys. Only strategy. You know, this is the only thing that can protect you. It's the only thing that can even begin to align you to your frequency without having to entertain this. Why? Because it's in your body. Even if you're a mental projector, it's still a frequency. And you still have a frequency that is you. Okay? So I don't want anybody trying to play that card. Well, I don't have any. Yeah, but you have a frequency. You have a song. And you know when you're on your song. And what we're here to do is get to a level of awareness in our bodies where we know if we're out of frequency or not. You know, sometimes it would help to come to someone like me that can see things really well, or, you know, other friends that you're going to meet in here and in the forums and so forth that we'll be doing. You know, just to ask for some perspective, but you're not asking for anybody's advice ever again. Okay, I could make suggestions. You might want to listen to this. You might want to try this exercise. But you are not asking anybody what you should do ever again. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared to stand in the face of every authority on the planet and go, you have no idea what's good for me? That's what this is, guys. I don't know if it got missed in the first brochures or what. Because I was told there was a fuzzy bunny and a chocolate Easter egg, and I mean, I was sold a whole different trip. No, again, dude, would I change it for the world? No, I love it. If you don't get that I'm absolutely just lost in passion and love with human design, then, you know, just get away from me, man, because I love this stuff. You know, I see the silliness of humanity. I see the stupidity of humanity. It is my design. And I can't turn that off just because it's human design. Okay? You know, so anybody caught trying to manipulate people or whatever in my class with this information, you'll be gone before you can, you know, before I can hang the phone up. I'll just rip it out of the wall. I mean, I will get rid of it. You know, this information is precious and it is not to be used against people. When you're meeting people, you're meeting children, little bitty boys and girls. You should see the emails I get from people in their 50s and 60s. They sound like 6 years old. They got their feelings hurt. I didn't like this one word you said in an hour and a half reading, and now I've got a 2-page email about how their dad abused them. I was like, dude, it's like, no. You're dealing, when you're meeting somebody and you're meeting them with human design, you're meeting a child. Try to keep that in mind, you know. And, you know, are you prepared to be unique? To really be different? I mean, we're stepping into the time. I mean, we're on the front edge of the wave, of the cusp of evolution here, guys, of doing what's correct for you and only correct for you. You know? Now look, I ask you to do that with honor and integrity, but that's me. It's very important to me that I don't care what happens, but there is a very important thing with me about being honorable is the best word I can use, and just being an honorable man or woman in your business, you know, in the world. Try to have that level of integrity. If you can't have that level of integrity, you know, you won't be able to have integrity in yourself anyway. I mean, who are you bullshitting? You know, I mean, I've heard people use this information to justify the most silly stuff. You know, but strategy and authority, guys, how does your aura work? Exactly, physically. I need you to feel it in your cells. I don't care how much you remember of what we learned this year. I care whether or not you can embody your true life force. Again, just that will end up changing the people around you. Or, better yet, making them go away. We'll say helping. It helps them go away. Dude, an awareness and vigilance, man. And anyone that doesn't like the Warriors trip, too bad. You know, because dude, this is not a game. This is a life or death bid for your own freedom. And you have no idea how badly the deck is stacked against you. There's at least a 96% chance that you will fail completely. Okay? That's why I love recovery work. It's almost perfect failure rate. Human design has an almost perfect failure rate of getting people into their bodies, into their presence, into their... Now look, I'm not saying that there aren't incredible human design people. I'm saying there are. But I'm saying if we looked at it globally and actually measured it with any, real data, like all spiritual pursuits, you would find that it has a near perfect failure rate. Why? Because it's like, bees that are flying around from flower to flower, and human design is just another flower. They think this is just like yoga or astrology or whatever the next thing is in Dreamcraft, and let me write my wishes on the board and blah, blah, blah. This is not that. This is reclaiming your life. This is being willing to chew off your own arm to be free. That's how I see it. Just get rid of the squeamish people early before John starts to really let loose. We'll see how many questions there are after class. Dude, because it attacks you when you're the weakest. Dude, it tried to attack me. You saw, like, after my brother's death, and then I hurt my ribs, and it's just like, and then I've got this class, and guys, like I said, look, you can tell how much fun I'm having right now. This is the most fun I'm gonna have all week. This is the biggest barrel of the week for me. This is the biggest snowboard jump. This is it, okay? And I get to do it pretty much every week. And I get paid. And so can you. See, that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I would be just as happy being this crazy doing anything. It just happens that this is what's happening. I didn't choose this. I'm thrilled that I have the opportunity. But every time, I get the shit kicked out of me. Like, about every 2 years, I go through a 2 to 6 month process of like completely getting annihilated, dragging myself out of a fucking swamp, beating down demons that are still hanging on me, trying to climb out of the muck. It's fucked up, guys. But I'm in the quarter mutation, death and rebirth. I'm a 6-line being. I'm mutative. I'm a 5710. I'm here to survive. My art is survival. It doesn't need to look pretty. It will look heretical. It will look scary. It will look dangerous to anybody with a normal mind. Anybody that hasn't been here would be afraid of what here is. And that's how I really know, guys, is when I look into people's eyes and I see that they don't even know the here that I'm talking about, regardless of whatever their titles may be, because you have no idea how many Fruit Loops I eat. You get nothing else today, guys. Nothing else from this lecture. Nothing else. The map is not the territory. The map is not the territory. Okay? The map is the map. It will help you. But anytime you get lost, dude, dog back in the backyard, present. I don't care if that's all you can pull off that day. Don't do anything. Bring yourself home. Don't let yourself get carried away and continue, where there's so much momentum that you never get a space to actually find yourself. Find that frequency, okay? Explore the map to whatever level it may be of use to you. I love hiking and mountain biking with no map, no extra water, no cell phone, no first aid kit. I love that I trust myself at that level to be able to look at the elements, the sun, the shadows. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I joke a little bit about there not being an ocean here, so I'm pissed off about directions. Because some of it still seems a little trippy, just the way the mountains turn, because it creates a little bit of an optical illusion here in Sedona. But, to be able to feel the difference in microclimates, I mean, being a surfer, being a guy that chased wind and waves and weather conditions, martial arts, human design, it's all the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. You have a vehicle. You're going through space. There's very fixed mechanics that you can learn to rely on. Then you can tell me how they work, okay? When you are telling me, no, this is what I'm seeing, John. This is how it works for me. Now we're talking. Ra said, do you know how many times Ra got it wrong? I mean, really, I don't even know. I mean, you have to go to the real old timers to know that, dude, he was working it out, So just because you heard on some recording, dude, maybe, just maybe, because he always also was honest about don't believe it, test it. That's all I'm saying. Don't put so much trust in the map that you're not really exploring the territory. And this is where I see there's just overemphasis on the information in the map. How much can I know? How much can I know? Simply empowering the very thing I am here to destroy. Judge Yoda by his size, do you? Wars do not make one great. Yeah. Guys, I've loved Yoda as an archetype since there was a Yoda. And it resonates so deeply with my own personal mythology, that this kind of wizard warrior thing that I've had visions of since I was a child and been attracted to that sort of mythology my entire life. I mean, when I say way of the Jedi, way of the samurai, warriors codes, dude, I'm speaking to an archetype. I'm speaking to the archetype of a person who's actually willing, ready, and able to break free. And if that's not you, that's why there are no commitments here. That's why there is no deal. The deal is you come as long as you want to come, or as long as it's good for me that you come. And that's our only deal, guys. And that's the only real deal you're ever going to get. So anything beyond that, guys, just know that it's probably most likely not only failing, but definitely disintegrating underneath you, because the whole underlying program of support is going away. Now, is that 10 years or 100 years? I can't tell you, but I can tell you that the bricks are already falling off the buildings. I can tell you that the sidewalks are already cracked. The infrastructure is falling. It's something that any real projector, I think, would be able to pick up. You can just see it breaking down. but I'm wired to see what's not working. So maybe that's just me again. See, at least I admit it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's good for now.
Mhm.
And yeah, guys, it's going to be a long journey. Get comfortable. Aloha.